In the headlines, soldiers kill two bandits in Kaduna State. Worshippers trapped as truck rams into Suleja mosques. Nigerians' unemployment rate to rise to 41% in 2023. And on the international scene, doctors in England start historic 4-day strike over pay. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us, and now the news in full. Troops of Operation Forest Sanity on Tuesday said its operatives ambushed and neutralized two bandits in Kaduna State. The acting Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, 1 Division, Nigerian Army, Lieutenant Colonel Musa Yahya, confirmed the incident in a statement in the state. Yahya said that following a tip-off from the intelligence sources, troops of Operation Forest Sanity under the 1 Division Nigerian Army ambushed and successfully neutralized two bandits leaders, capturing arms, ammunition, and other equipment. The statement partly read, an earlier intelligence source revealed that a bandit leader named Isia Longwasa intended to send his errand boy Yunusa to purchase some arms and ammunition in Kaduna town. Subsequently, the errand boy was trailed and picked up by plainclothes soldiers and later used to lure two of the bandits' leaders to a selected ammunition collection point. Upon their arrival, troops who had laid ambush engaged the criminal with superior firepower and neutralized them. He said items recovered from the bandits included 1 motorcycle, 2 AK-47 rifles, 6 AK-47 magazines, 250 rounds of 7.62 mm special, 1 power bank, 2 charm vests, and the sum of 200,000 naira. Members of the vigilante group of Nigeria, Nasarawa A-Gun Command, on Monday evening apprehended 6 suspected kidnappers who have been terrorizing and tormenting the residents of the state in their hideouts. Investigation by our correspondent indicated that the VGN operatives who stormed their hideout at Tudunwaya, Nasarawa A-Gun local government area of Nasarawa State also rescued 7 kidnapped victims during the raid. Trust TV further learned that after the arrest, the 6 suspects were taken to the state police headquarters, Lafia, for further investigation and subsequent prosecution to serve as deterrent to others. Speaking shortly after the arrest of the suspected kidnappers, one of the residents, Bawa Ibrahim, thanked the VGN operatives for their efforts and doggedness towards ensuring peace in the area. When contacted to get the reaction of the Nasarawa State Police Command on the matter, the police public relations officer, DSP Ramhan Nansel, simply said, "I can't confirm their arrest at this moment because the command is yet to be briefed on the incident." In politics, the federal government has challenged the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, to clarify his position on a leaked audio of the conversation he allegedly had with the founder of Living Faith Church Worldwide, Bishop David Oyedepo. Addressing the media in London, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said Obi should clarify what he meant by saying the leaked conversation was a fake doctored audio call. Lai Mohammed said the leaked audio had corroborated the position that Obi's electioneering campaign was based on religion and ethnicity. He said this was the first time in the history of Nigeria's election that a politician would come out openly to campaign on grounds of religion and ethnicity. The audio clip, as released by an online newspaper, was an alleged conversation between Obi and the founder of Living Faith Church Worldwide, Bishop David Oyedepo. Now let's take a short break, and when we come back, the news continue.
That's great.
Welcome back to Trust TV News Update. The Executive Committee of the All Progressive Congress in Isaipian Ward 8 in Owo local government area of Ondo State has suspended its chairman Olayode Omorayiwa over abuse of office and mismanagement. The suspension was contained in a notice signed by 24 ward ESCOs and 3 local government ESCOs from the ward and addressed to the local government chairman of the party. Omorayiwa's suspension takes effect from Sunday, April 9th. The ESCO members expressed loss of confidence in Omorayiwa over his inability to move the party forward. The Financial Secretary, Joseph Oladipo, moved the motion for the loss of confidence and seconded by the representative of special persons in the ESCO, Oke Abiodun. Meanwhile, in politics, the All Progressive Congress has opposed Northern senators vying for the Senate presidency. It insisted that any Northerner angling, for the leadership of the Senate had no respect for the party's constitution. Party chieftains in the South and Southeast had called for the zoning of the Senate presidency to their regions in the spirit of fairness and to give other geopolitical regions a sense of belonging, in the view of their Muslim presidential ticket adopted by the party. So far, no fewer than 8 senators had indicated an interest in the race. They include, of course, Senators Jibrin Barrow, Kano Central, Sani Musa, Niger East, Ojikalu, Abia North, and Godswill Akpabio, Akwa Ibom Northwest. Others are Senators Osita Izunaso, Imo West, Peter Ndubuze, Imo North, Abdul Aziz Yari, Zamfara West, and Ahmed Lawan, Yobe North, amongst others. Lukman, member APC National Working Committee, called on Yari, Barrow, and other northern senators to step down from the race for the office of the Senate President. The APC chieftain made the appeal in a statement issued in Abuja titled Cash and Carry Contest for Leadership of 10th National Assembly. A trailer loaded with powdered milk rammed into a mosque at Suleja, Niger State on Tuesday, leaving at least 3 persons trapped. The accident occurred around 6 a.m. when many people had left the mosque after morning prayers. According to the eyewitnesses, the trailer fell on the back section of the mosque where women and children pray. However, 3 people, including a child, were trapped in the ruins and subsequently sustained injuries. When our reporter visited the scene, sympathizers were seen around the fallen vehicle, which blocked part of the ever-busy Biba Road close to the popular Babangida Market. The trailer reportedly fell down while trying to negotiate a narrow part of the road blocked by a heap of sand being used for construction of new shops. A resident, Baba Mayongwa, who spoke to our reporter, said 3 people had been taken to Suleja General Hospital for treatment. He said the accident happened after Subhi early morning prayer and 3 people had been taken away to hospital, including a child. The Federal Road Safety Corps Ocean Command has said that 14 passengers escaped death in an accident that occurred on Gongan-Ibadan Expressway. The sector command, Henry Benemase, said this in a statement issued by the command spokesperson Agnes Ogungbemi in Oshogbo. Benemase said that the accident occurred at the Orile Owo Junction AP filling station, 2 km to Sasa Bridge at about 9:31 p.m. on Monday evening. He said that a private Hyundai Jeep with a registration number LND 108GL had a head-on collision with another vehicle, an ash-colored Toyota Sequoia with registration number ABC 403HP. The accident occurred due to speeding, leading to the loss of control by one of the vehicles. Also, 14 persons were involved without any casualty. According to him, the Corps has been able to clear all grid load within the scene of the accident to avoid any form of inconvenience. I beg your pardon. The Federal Road Safety Corps Osun states the passenger's death in an accident occurred. Sorry, I beg your pardon. An Ota Magistrate Court in Ogun on Tuesday sentenced a 22-year-old point-of-sale POS operator, Salawuddin Ayomide, to 3 months imprisonment for stealing 120,000 naira belonging to her employer. The police charged Ayomide, whose address was not provided, with theft following her guilty plea. In her ruling, Mrs. A.O. Adeyemi gave the convict an option of 3,000 naira and also ordered her to pay 120,000 naira to complainant Nasiru Jayola. Earlier, the prosecution inspector E.O. Adara Loye told the court that the convict committed the offense on February 8th at about 8 a.m. in Ogba Ayo Ijoko area of Ota. Adara Loye said that the offense contravened the provisions of Section 390, subsection 9 of the Criminal Code, Volume 1, Laws of Ogun State, 2006. An area court in Jos on Tuesday sentenced a bus conductor, Suleiman Mohammed, 22, to 6 months imprisonment for unlawful possession of 2 knives. The judge, Thomas Ajise, sentenced Mohammed following his guilty plea to possession of dangerous weapon. Ajise also gave the convict an option of a fine of 50,000 naira. The prosecution counsel, Inspector Ibrahim Goktwat, told the court that on February 23rd, the police patrol team from the Railway Division Police Station, Jos, arrested the convict during a stop and search. Goktwat said that the convict had 2 knives on him. The police prosecutor said that the offense contravened the provisions of the Plateau Penal Code Law of Northern Nigeria. You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, we take a look at why reasons Yoruba bury corpses at home. Details on this and more after the break. Stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
A Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update, and here is a recap of our top stories. We brought you soldiers killed 2 bandits in Kaduna State, and worshippers trapped as truck rams into Suleja mosques. Now moving on to more stories. Global audit and tax advisory firm KPMG has projected that Nigeria's unemployment rate is expected to rise to 40.6% as compared to 2022's 37.7%. KPMG detailed this forecast in its International Global Economic Outlook Report H1 2023 on Tuesday, where it stated that unemployment is expected to continue to be a major challenge in 2023 due to the limited investment by the private sector, low industrialization, and slower than required economic growth, and consequently the inability of the economy to absorb the 4 to 5 million new entrants into the Nigerian job market every year. The report also revealed in part that there are expectations for GDP to continue to grow at a relatively slow pace of 3% in 2023, owing to the slowdown in economic activity that typically characterized periods of political transitions in Nigeria. Furthermore, the spillover from an unexpected slowdown in the global economy in 2023 and its trade and financial flow implications are expected to drag on GDP. On the resurgence of major aspects of the economy, it's forecasted that the telecommunications, trade services, as well as an expected recovery in the oil sector on account of measures being taken to tackle security issues to drive our forecast of 3% growth in 2023. Graves are commonly seen in the front, beside, or at the back of ancient houses in typical Yoruba family compounds. Some go to the extent, of burying their corpses inside their houses and live comfortably with the dead, a practice attributed to culture. Hamid Oyegbade files the report.
Yoruba culture is very rich and engaging even as religion and modernity takes its toll on the Yoruba cultural heritage. One of the aspects of Yoruba culture is on the brink of extinction is burial arrangement and rites. In the past, relatives would bury remains of departed relations in the family compound or the house of the deceased. This allows unrestricted access to the dead.
Yoruba people bury their parents inside their room or inside their parlor. They can still go there and invoke the spirit of ancestor. Call upon the ancestor to come to their aid.
When somebody died, people prefer to bury them at home, simply because if they consult the oracle and the oracle asks them to perform sacrifice to such person, so they will go easily to the grave and pray and do whatever necessary the oracle asks them to do.
It's part of our culture, because when people die from your compound, you have to bury him or her at your family compound. But now, I don't think our people, they are not doing it again now.
However, there's a legal twist to this. Lawyer Adeniton Akinola says the culture of burying corpses at home is punishable under the law.
Nigeria, now let's look at it from a legal perspective. Nigerian law forbids the burial of a dead body in residential apartment. Section 246 of the Criminal Act, in the Criminal Code Act, provide that anybody who buries a corpse in a residential apartment or at a certain distance, that such a person is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to 6 months imprisonment upon conviction. But of course, because there is a synergy between law and the culture of a people, so it's difficult to enforce such a law. That's why it's rare for you to hear that somebody has been convicted for burying his mother or father in his resident apartment. Because by the culture of the people, we revere the dead, we honor the dead, and we still carry the dead as if they are alive. That's why we have to bury them with expensive casket, still bury them in our sitting room or bedroom. And that makes the law very difficult to enforce. But the law is the law, and it is clear.
It goes without saying that the law forbidding burial of corpses at home is unenforceable due to the impact of culture. The implication is that the decision to bury corpses in the residences is left to individual preferences.
Now from the international scene, doctors working in England's Public Health Service on Tuesday launched what has been billed as the most disruptive strike in its history in a dispute over pay and working conditions. The four-day walkout, which began at 7 a.m. 0600 GMT, follows months of strikes by other public and private sector staff as inflation sparks the UK's worst cost of living crisis in a generation. The action by so-called junior doctors, physicians who are not senior specialists but who may still years of experience, comes after a 3-day stoppage last month and several strikes by nurses. It threatens to be the most serious walkout yet and lead to the cancellation of hundreds of thousands of appointments. They are demanding a pay rise of 35%, which they say is needed to help make up for more than a decade of salary cuts in real terms. They also argued pandemic backlogs coupled with staff shortages which are massively increasing workloads, endangering patients. The government maintains the BMA's request is unaffordable as ministers try to dampen wage demands across the public sector amid stagnant growth and high inflation. Restrictions on nightlife and meetings were imposed in 3 major cities in Ethiopia's Amhara region, including the most populous Gondar, in the wake of protests against the dismantling of regional military forces across Ethiopia. According to similar statements issued by municipal authorities of Gondar, Desi and Debre Birhan, the restrictions are being imposed by the military command post in each city, implying that security there is now in the hands of the Federal Army. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's federal government recently announced that it had begun the process of reassigning members of the military forces that have been gradually built up over the past 15 years by some regional states to the Federal Army of the Police, called the Special Forces in Ethiopia. These unconstitutional military units were, tolerated until now. Incidents have occurred in Amhara, where the special forces are powerful and provided crucial assistance to the Federal Army during its conflict with the rebel authorities in the Tigray region between late 2020 and late 2022. In all 3 cities, motorized tricycles are now prohibited from traveling at night, and bars and nightclubs must close at 9 p.m. Strikes, are also prohibited, and all meetings must be reported to the authorities. It is also forbidden to carry a weapon or any object that can be used as a weapon, knife, machete, or iron bar in particular, to set off firecrackers and fireworks, or to wear any military clothing. Members of the special forces are also ordered to assemble in designated areas. In sports, Governor Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi has donated 10 million naira to Kebbi United Football Club and pledged more investments in sports. He stated this in Birnin Kebbi shortly after Ramadan break fast iftar with players and officials of the club. Bagudu reiterated his commitment towards sustaining support for the development of sports in the state, particularly the game of soccer. Bagudu appreciated the effort of the club in its recent success in the Nigerian Professional League (NPL), as well as its feat against Zamfara United. He said Kebbi was doing very well in beach soccer in the country and the world at large, recalling that beach soccer started like an experiment in the state. Enumerating some achievements of his administration in sports, the governor said that the state government would sponsor some youths to Kwara Sports Academy. And lastly, Niger Super 8 football tournament, which was recently unveiled for a Nigerian club, has kicked off fan voting process for clubs to participate in the playoffs scheduled to hold in Oyo this June. The voting, which commenced Monday and closes on Friday, May 12, has elicited excitement by football clubs shortlisted to participate in the tournament. Speaking on the voting, Managing Director, Flykite Productions, Jenkins Alumona, acknowledged the excitement and commitment shown by shortlisted football clubs and urged them to embark on innovative fan engagement initiatives that will enable them garner votes from the fans. Alumona also assured the stakeholders that the votes collated by international recognized audit firm Deloitte could be credible. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.